and integration. Wasn't it the law Parliament enacted to ensure we never go back to where our country was in 2007, 2008 because of utterances like this?
It was pursuant to the post-election violence, and the country resolved that we needed a law as a result. And therefore, it is a law that is supposed to ensure that we in office live to promote national unity and not the opposite.
Given that history and why that law exists, sir, we repeat the question. Has the Deputy President committed ordinary or extraordinary wrongdoing?
He has, under Article 150 of the Constitution, in relation to this ground, there are serious reasons to believe that he has committed wrongs against the National Cohesion and Integration Act, and if extraordinary in nature. And if you allow me, these are not my words. I have been accused of urging the National Assembly to believe me. These are not my words, they are words of the Constitution under Article 150.
Thank you. I want us, Mr. Speaker, we are urging the Senate, if you consider the evidence so far adduced, then that evidence applies to ground 1, 5, and 6. So we are prosecuting. The other allegation runs from pages 17 to 31. It was the one you were told runs from falsehoods, culminating in the embarrassing and other things. Let's see whether it is actually falsehoods, embarrassing, and the other adjectives that we were told. And I would urge members to work with me by holding volume 2A of the Assembly's documents, together with our volume 6. 6, I only mention it briefly. Please confirm, sir, at page 2 of volume 6, who, as between you and the Deputy President, as passions were cast, that you're referring to irrelevant material about the estate of the lady Gachagua'S. Between you and the Deputy President, who has brought up this issue of the estate? Is it you or is it him?
In the response by the Deputy President, on page 2 of volume 6, indeed, he did bring out the issue of the estate of his late brother in response to the allegations that he has acquired properties worth 5.2 billion within the period that he has been Deputy President.
So we'll come back to that document much later. I'm only mentioning it now, sir, to clear the air, whether it is you trying to whip emotions by bringing up this matter, or it is the Deputy President attempting, by his own response, to hide behind the shadow of his late brother.
He's the one who mentioned his deceased relatives.
He's actually the one who has brought this material, isn't it?
Indeed.
Good. Now we'll come to it. Let's go back to your allegation. Ground number 7, sir. Can you tell the Senate in summary? We are so pressed for time. What is...
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, under ground number 7, our allegation is that there are serious reasons to believe that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has committed crimes under Section 45(1), 46, 47(a)(3), and 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, as well as Sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceedings of Crime and the Money Laundering Act. And in short, during the short period that I was doing research on this motion, I have come across properties that are registered in the name of the Deputy President or in the name of his children or other proxies that run cumulatively to a value of about 5.2 billion. And there is no clear trace of where the monies to purchase those properties came from, and therefore, under the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, qualify to be unexplained assets. Number 2, I have also listed companies companies that are associated with the Deputy President, 22 of them. And these companies, you look at the objects and purposes, they are all the same. And it is our theory and our evidence that these companies have been used for money laundering. Similarly, I have also listed companies that have been transacting with the office of the Deputy President. The office held by the Deputy President, His Excellency Gachagua'S, with tremendous respect. And they are being paid from that office, and we have laid ground for serious reasons to believe that these companies are actually conduits for corruption, and that political responsibility, even when he's not the accounting officer, rests with the highest holder of that office. And that is the case we are making here. And we shall be showing the connection between the properties and His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. And in a case of unexplained assets, it is upon the person to show where they actually got the money to buy the assets. We have and senators will have opportunity to look at the performance materials. Many of them are under 2 weeks old, so they are very recent.
Let's go to the question of the purchase
And
of...
you can also independently confirm from the e-citizen portal, it is only 650 shillings to do as a company search.
You have mentioned Treetops Hotel and Elspan Hotel in paragraph 45A.
Yes, indeed.
Let's confirm whether this is false, ridiculous, or embarrassing. Did the Deputy President issue a public address on the 7th of October in which he admitted acquiring these 2 hotels?
Yes, indeed, that it is part of our evidence.
So with that admission from him, can we be here to say your allegations are false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
That is not expected from the son of Maumo.
Let's go to page 33, sir, of your volume 2A.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have been patiently waiting and restraining myself from
Pause the time for the National Assembly. Proceed, Council.
I've been constraining myself when listening to the proceedings. And Council is testifying instead of the witness testifying. Number 2, he's asking leading questions in examination in chief. And Council understands the rules of examination.
A case in point, you're very general. A case in point?
The Hansons, Mr. Speaker, sir, will bear as witness, and the Senate is the custodian of the Hanson.
Council, I'm very alert. Any leading questions before you take your feet? I'll be able to object. I'm very alert for that. Proceed, Council.
Much obliged, Mr. Speaker. Let's go to page 33, sir. What is that document? On volume 2A.
On page 33, this is a discharge of charge between Wayne Holdings Limited and Aberdare Safari Lodges Limited.
Yes.
Loaned by the firm of Hamilton, Harris and Matthews.
On page 34, what is the loan being discharged?
The loan being discharged is 143,885,042 shillings.
Please confirm this loan is being discharged as of 30th October 2023.
Yes, the loan is being discharged as at of 30th October 2023. And the loan Hotels Limited.
Would that mean this hotel was indebted before the Deputy President acquired it?
It was in evidence.
To what amount?
143,885,042 shillings.
What is that document you have annexed, sir?
The document I've annexed here is a transfer instrument. Transfer to companies and limited liability partnerships. It's a document ordinarily that is used to transfer
Interest in what?
interest in property from one party to the next.
And who is that for?
The property, as at this time, belonged to Aberdare Safari Hotels Limited and is being transferred to Crystal Kenya Limited.
Is Crystal Kenya Limited a company linked to the Deputy President?
Yes, indeed, and we have annexed the Form CR12.
In which page?
The Form CR12 is on page 23 of our
Volume 2A.
Volume 2A.
Who are given as the directors there?
The directors are one Keith Ikino Rigadi.
Who is that?
That is a son to Honorable Rigadi Gachagua.
Yes.
And the second director is Kevin Gachagua Rigadi,
Yes.
also a son.
Now let's go back to 37. As the Deputy President in his response explained, where he got more than $500 million shillings, and to be precise, 535 million to acquire this hotel.
To begin with, the consideration for this transfer was Kenya shillings 535 million, and this needs to be added to the loan of 143 million.
Yes.
Cumulative.
Yes.
So that you get the value, because the value of in terms of what was the purchase.
Yes.
In his response, and I have seen it, the Deputy President alludes that he got a loan of 600 million, that when he became Deputy President, he used to run this company called Crystal, that when he became Deputy President, he gave it to his children to run it. And he goes further to say that he got a loan of 600 million from the Credit Bank of Kenya.
Has he actually placed before this Senate evidence of the disbursement of any such loan?
I have seen a letter of offer for that loan, but I have not seen any evidence of disbursement nor any charge in respect of that loan.
Is a letter of offer loan evidence that a loan has actually been given?
A letter of offer is just that, an offer.
That letter is annexed of offer, says that as security for the supposed loan there will be directors' guarantees. Has he annexed those directors' guarantees?
To the best of my recollection, I have not seen them.
It says that the loan will be secured by personal guarantees. Has he also annexed those personal guarantees?
I have not seen them.
Has he annexed any security known in the banking world for acquiring a loan of this amount?
What I have seen is, what I've seen in the letter of offer is at, I'm looking at it, is in terms of the lien and set-off at
Yes.
page 132 or 534, is that lien and set-off of a fixed
Please say
deposit.
which volume you're referring to on the page so that the Senate will walk with you.
Council, the senators would wish to know where the letter of offer is contained. Which volume?
The letter of offer, Mr. Speaker,
Which page? What page?
It's in volume 6.
is in volume 6, starting from page 98.
Yes, walk us through that letter of offer.
So there is a letter of offer, meaning there was an application for a loan. And this is to the directors of Crystal Kenya Limited. Crystal Kenya Limited is the company that is acquiring Aberdare Safari Lodges. And the loan is in respect of an amount of 600 million. And in the clause for lien and set-off, I have seen that a lien and set-off or fixed deposits, this is on page 99, in respect of INO Crystal Kenya Limited for an aggregate amount of 300 million to be obtained to your deposit settlement account.
Let's stick to that one for now. From elementary banking knowledge, what do we conclude from this issue of the 300 million?
My understanding is that the account held at the bank had 300 million shillings in cash, and that that amount was going to be part of the security for the loan.
So it means the 535 million, and the 143 million that had been to be paid to pay way for this transaction.
Indeed, yes.
In estimate, that would be like how much money?
535 plus 300
Is 835?
835 plus 143, roughly a billion shillings,
Roughly $1 billion
in respect of one transaction.
just one property. Now, if the deputy president were to save all his net salary for 10 years, would they be able to have savings of $1 billion to acquire this hotel?
Not at all.
But because
From the non source, legitimate source of income, which is his salary as deputy president, as gazetted by the SRC, roughly around 1.2 billion after taxation, an aggregate of 1 million shillings, it will not be possible to acquire a billion shillings within a period of 2 years.
now these three figures, sir, whether it is the 143 million or the 300 million or the 535 million, has the deputy president in his response offered any legitimate explanation of how he or his very young sons came upon this incredible fortune of money?
Nowhere in the response, other than the letter of offer that is in itself not evidence of acquiring a loan.
At page 39, who are shown as the parties to this transaction for Abadea's Hotel?
Page 39 of
Or volume 2A?
page 39 of volume 2A. The parties to this transaction for Crystal Kenya Limited, Kevin Gachagua'S and Keith Ikino Rigathi. For Abadea Safari Hotels, there is Robert Gadenji
Yes.
and Kenneth Waiboshi.
Are those two gentlemen you mentioned first related to the deputy president?
Indeed, they are his children.
As a matter of fact, Honorable Mutusa, and will do it in the closing statement, does our Public Officer Ethics Act or the Leadership and Integrity Act, faced with facts like this, permit the deputy president to hide behind his sons?
Not at all.
Is he allowed to hide behind any of his relatives?
Not at all.
What about his spouse?
Not at all.
So even if the Senate were to accept, for argument's sake, that this company is run by the sons and whatnot, would that, based on our Public Officer Ethics Act or the other act, which is the leadership, and would that be a valid answer to this unexplained wealth?
Section 35 of the Leadership and Integrity Act.
Please say the volume you're reading.
I'm reading from volume 7 in our bundle of documents at page 34. Acting through others. A state officer contravenes the code if the officer A causes anything to be done through another person that would constitute a contravention of the code if done by the state officer, or allows or directs a person under their supervision or control to do anything that is in contravention of the code.
Mr. Speaker, acting through others is what previously I have called it wasn't me. But let's jump to page 79 of volume 2A.
Yes, we are here.
Again, this is documentation for that same property the Deputy President admits he acquired, right?
Yes, through Aberdare, just for contextualization, Aberdare owned 2 hotels.
Yes.
There is Treetops Hotel,
Yes.
and there is
Which one?
Outspan.
Yes.
Outspan is the one that we have demonstrated how it was purchased. Treetops is a property developed by the Kenya Wildlife Service, but it was under the same management of Aberdare, so they were acquired together.
So let's pause at it is owned by the Kenya Wildlife Service.
Yes.
Is the Kenya Wildlife Service a public or a private entity?
A public entity funded by the taxpayers.
Under our Chapter 6 laws, that is the Public Officer Ethics Act, the Leadership and the Integrity Act, if you want, you can even draw the Public Procurement and Disposal Act, whichever law. Is it consistent with all those laws for the Deputy President of the Republic to acquire without competitive bidding an interest in a resource owned by the Kenya Wildlife Service?
It is not. And in fact, the Deputy President is on record in these proceedings as having said that he advised his family not to transact with government. But we are going to demonstrate that he actually transacted with KWS.
And KWS is a public entity.
And KWS is a public entity.
If this hotel were to be leased or sold, or whatever the language, would there be a requirement for open, competitive, and transparent bidding?
Section 45, which we say we have reasonable grounds to believe that the Deputy President has breached of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act. And I'm reading volume 7 at page 23, states as follows: protection of public property and revenue. A person is guilty of an offense if the person fraudulently or otherwise unlawfully A, acquires public property or public service or benefit, B, mortgages, charges, or disposes of any public property, C, damages public property including causing a computer or another electronic machinery to perform any function that directly or indirectly results in a loss or adversely affects any public revenue or service, or fails to pay any taxes or any fees, levies, charges payable to any public body, or effects or obtains an exemption, remission, reduction, or abatement from payment of any such taxes, levies, and fees. Section 46, about abuse of office. A person who uses his office to improperly confer a benefit on himself or anyone else is guilty of an offense.
Now let's go to page 81 of volume 2A, sir. It's still about Treetops Hotel.
Page
81 of volume 2A.
I'm there.
Can you read for us the last sentence of the second paragraph?
This is a letter. This is a letter from the Kenya Wildlife Service.
Yes.
To Mr. Amos Kisilo of Kisilo and Wandati Company Advocates.
It's a letter dated when?
The letter is dated
at the top left. What is the date?
5th of June, 2023.
Was His Excellency, the Honorable Gachagua'S, the Deputy President of Kenya on that date?
Yes.
It is addressed to who?
It is addressed to Kisilo, Wandati and Company Advocates.
In the Deputy President's own response, is that law firm indicated as one of the law firms he uses?
Yes, indeed.
Good. Now read for us the second paragraph of that letter, beginning with the word however.
However, the tenant is in rent arrears of Kenya shillings 35,481,548, and lodge has not been operational since 2019, which has resulted in deterioration of the same in breach of the lease agreement.
So we are being told this hotel, a number of things. One, it has not been in operation for 4 years, correct?
Indeed.
And as a result, it has accumulated rent arrears Correct or incorrect?
and deteriorated, which in effect means it requires renovation money.
Now let's go to page 80 where the deputy president develops interest in the hotel.
I'm here.
Can you read the opening line of that, the first paragraph of that letter?
Mr. Speaker, honorable senators, this is a letter from Kisilo Andati and Company Advocates to the Director General of the Kenya Wildlife Service. The opening sentence reads as follows. We act for a party, into brackets our client, who is interested in taking on an assignment of lease of the Treetops Hotel Lodge as defined in the lease agreement dated 31st December 1998 between yourselves and Aberdare Safari Lodges Limited, the lessee.
Please confirm this is a letter by the deputy president's lawyers.
This indeed is a letter by the Deputy President lawyers, but funny enough, against any all professional knowledge in terms of how you write letters, they do not disclose their client. They just say,
we act for a party. Who is our, does that letter disclose the identity of the client anyway?
No, it doesn't. And it is a requirement that you must disclose the client even as you move ahead.
Is that how lawyers usually write letters in honest, genuine transactions?
Not at all.
Good. Now let's go.
And I am one of them, so I know.
Let's go to page 83 of volume 2A. What is written there?
At page 83 is a letter to Dr. Kanga, Director General Acting, Kenya Wildlife Service from Aberdare Safari Hotels.
So, Mr.
It is about Treetops Lodge debt and lease.
Please hold 83 together with 81. In 81, we are told the hotel has not been in operation for 4 years, and that's why it's in rent arrears, right?
Yes, rent arrears of upwards of 35 million.
And that is on which date?
This is on 5th of June 2023.
And the letter, page 83, is on what date?
It's 7th of July 2023, a month later.
How many days in between, roughly?
Roughly a month, 30 days or so.
Roughly a month. And what does this letter say?
The letter says, I refer to Treetops rent arrears debt of Kenya shillings 35,481,548 and 14 cents, and I am pleased to inform you that the Aberdare Safari Hotels Limited has today paid via RTGS bank transfer amount of 34,869,797 to KWS main collection standard chartered bank account, and the amount of 611 to KRIF for 2% withholding tax.
So, Honorable Motuse, what we have to tell the Senate of the fact, a company that was in arrears for 4 years, 35 million, it is in distress, it's not in operation. The Deputy President shows interest, and suddenly it is able to pay these arrears of that 5 million.
The Deputy President must be magical. Assisting the Deputy President must be very magical, because you have not operated for over 4 years. You are in debt. You have not been able to service that debt for 4 years, but you have just interacted with him for a month, and you pay your debt overnight.
Now, when you see that, is it consistent with the narrative that your allegations are false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
Not at all. Indeed, our allegations are backed up by cogent evidence, as we have demonstrated.
What is the document at page 85 of volume 2A?
At page 85, this is a letter by Kenya Wildlife Service to one Ken Waiboshi, who is the Managing Director of Aberdare Safari Lodges, and it is acknowledgement of funds.
How much money?
We acknowledge, the letter reads as follows in paragraph 2, we acknowledge the receipt of Kenya shillings 34,481.
As the Deputy President in his response explained the mysterious availability of this, that 5 million shillings, when he comes to the picture?
I have not seen anywhere where it explains where this money came from.
Page 87, what is that document?
At page 87.
Of volume 2A, Mr. Speaker.
This is novation and assignment of lease agreement and addendum to lease dated 31st December 1998 and 27th July 2023, respectively, between Kenya Wildlife Service, Aberdare Safari Lodges Limited, and Crystal Kenya Limited, the company of interest.
Does this confirm, just like the deputy admitted, that he actually acquired Treetops Hotel?
Indeed, it confirms, and it is not. There is no. It has not been contested.
Is the allegation therefore, Mr. Mutuse, about Treetops, false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
Come again?
The evidence you just taken the Senate through about Treetops Hotel, is it consistent with the narrative of a move of motion who makes ridiculous, false, and embarrassing claims?
Not at all. It demonstrates that our allegations are not malicious. They are backed.
Let's go to his response in volume 6. It should be page 8, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Speaker. Eight of volume 6.
Yes, there we are. Volume 6. On page.
Is page 9?
Yes.
At the top of page 9, what does the Deputy President in his response to the National Assembly tell it?
He says, in respect to Crystal Kenya Limited, this company was incorporated in 2009, way before I became Deputy President.
Let's pause there. Is that a valid response to your motion, the date when the company was incorporated?
I am interested in what the company did when Mr. Gachagua'S is Deputy President, and not when the company was incorporated.
Okay, read for us the next line.
I transferred the company to my sons when I became Deputy President.
Is that a valid answer given the things we've just seen about Treetops and Outspan?
It confirms that the sons indeed are acting on his behalf.
Read the next line, please.
It acquired Outspan Hotel and Treetops Hotel following financing by a local bank. I also gave the company a personal loan from funds which were returned to me by the Asset Recovery Agency. I wish to clarify that Treetops Hotel was not bought. It is leased from KWS. The lease was assigned to Crystal Kenya Limited by a private company, Aberdare Safari Hotels Limited. I have annexed the facility letter dated 24th October, as well as the company resolution to borrow Kenya shilling 600 million and marked as Annex RG 14 and Annex RG 15 respectively.
Let's go to page 44. This relates to the property called Rogoro Kiamariga 1223.
This is in volume 2?
2A. Volume 2A, Mr. Speaker, page 44. Please confirm from the Deputy President's response whether he has admitted acquiring this property.
Yes, he admits acquiring the property, but goes ahead to make some specifications.
Page 44, Mr. Speaker, volume 2A. The justification he makes is to what effect?
Is that the acreage is different.
Yes.
And also that he bought it for 3.5 million and not 5 million as alleged.
Now let's go to that page 44. What is that document?
This is a document transferred by personal representative to person on intestacy. Basically.
And who is given that transfer? Who is making it?
A certain Naftali Guandraru Gadogo.
Can you read the opening line of that document?
Public Trustee of the Republic of Kenya, or PO Box 49672 Nairobi, as personal representatives of Naftali Garandau Gadogo, deceased, hereby transferred to Hannah Gadongo Mugo. Absolutely.
Who is the public trustee a public officer?
The public trustee is a public office, is under public.
Under what circumstances, to the best of your knowledge, does the public trustee obtain letters of administration of an estate, in this case the estate of the deceased Naftali Gwandaru Gadogo?
In terms of the law of succession, the public trustee only steps in where there are no beneficiaries of a deceased person's estate.
The person to whom the trustee is transferring, is there a picture given there?
Yes, it is given, and I will invite honorable senators to look at it.
What observation do you want them to make about it?
Well, this is a photograph of, I do not want to say disheveled, old lady who signs by appending her thumb, signifying probably she was not unaware of the transaction.
Has she signed or affixed a thumbprint?
A thumbprint.
On the face of it, does that look like a privileged or vulnerable and marginalized Kenyan?
The very vulnerable.
Mr. Speaker, sir, kindly allow me again to bring to the attention of the Assembly that the advocate is leading the witness. He has put a question: does that, in your own imagination, look like a vulnerable witness?
Objection sustained. Council for National Assembly, stop leading the witness.
I'm not guided, Mr. Speaker, so we'll proceed. Who on page?
We are on page 44.
44. Did the Deputy President, in his response, disclose that this property initially belonged to a deceased person?
No.
Did he, in his response, disclose that this property was initially vested on the public trustee?
No, he didn't.
Let's go to his response at paragraph 1.4.2, which is on volume 6, Mr. Speaker. Page 4 of volume 6. Can you read paragraph 1.4.2 of the Deputy President's response?
I purchased the land in the year 2023 for Kenya shillings 3.5 million for my farm proceeds. Some of you are aware that I have dairy farm with close to 200 cows.
Now let's see who is saying things that are embarrassing, false, and ridiculous. What is the price he has said he acquired it for in that page?
3.5 million Kenya shillings.
Let's go to the agreement he has attached to show how he purchased this property. It is at page 63 of the same volume.
I am here.
Clause number 3, what is given as the purchase price?
The purchase price is Kenya shillings 5 million only, to be paid as follows.
Is that consistent?
Volume
6.
6.
We are holding, Mr. Speaker, volume 6, pages 4 and 63. No, it is page 4 of 534 and page 96 of 534. The problem, Mr. Speaker, there are two sets of pagination. So the one we refer to is the one that says of 534. So we are talking of page 4 of 534. You hold that together with page 96 of 534. My apologies, Mr. Speaker.
In other words, go to page 4 and page 96
of 534. Of volume 6.
Yes.
We'll shortly take you to the paragraph.
Mr. Speaker, you know I'm at a lot of pressure because of the time. That's why sometimes. So, are we all there, honorable senators? Good. Can you read again for the Senate on page 4 of 534 what the Deputy President says was the purchase price for this property?
This is land parcel number Guru, Yamariga 1223 in Madera East constituency. That is on page 3. And on page 4, the Deputy President says, I purchased the land in 2023 for Kenya shillings 3.5 million for my farm proceeds.
Let's pause it there. He bought it for 3.5 million. Let's go to the document he has annexed to prove that he acquired this property for 3.5 million. It is at page 96 of 534.
Indeed, this is agreement for sale of the whole of LR number title Ruguru Kiamariga 1223, measuring approximately 2.5 acres. And under clause 3, the purchase price is Kenya shillings 5 million to be paid as follows.
Given this inconsistency, sir, is it fair for the Deputy President, when he is lying on his own document, to accuse you of presenting material that is false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
It is not fair, and also especially when one of our allegations against the Deputy President is that he consistently misleads the public.
He says that he bought it in the year, back to page 4 of 534, in the year 2023. Was that during his tenure as Deputy President?
Indeed.
He says he has a dairy farm there with 200 cows.
Indeed, he says so.
In his presser on the 7th of October 2024, what did he tell the country was the source of these 200 cows?
If I remember correctly, in the televised address by the Deputy President on that fateful night, he did say that the Kalenjin people of the Rift Valley have gifted him the cows that he keeps in his farm.
Can you now read for us Article 76(1) of the Constitution, what it says about gifts given to public officers?
Article 76, financial property of state officers. 76(1). A gift or donation to a state officer or a public or official on a public or official occasion is a gift or donation to the Republic and shall be delivered to the state unless exempted under an act of Parliament.
Has the Deputy President presented any evidence that he surrendered these gifts to the state?
He says that he has kept them in his farm.
Wouldn't that be an admission by his own public statement of violating Chapter 6?
Indeed, it is an admission and should be treated as such.
Let's go to the land in Meru. Have you placed any evidence to prove this allegation?
I have placed evidence to prove that the Deputy President indeed acquired land in Meru, and to the best of my recollection, he has also admitted in his response to having bought land in Meru.
I now want you to vote volume 8 against the Deputy President's response. Yes. Let's go to, first of all, volume 6, which is the Deputy President's response. What does he say about the Olive Garden Hotel? In summary, it's clause 1.1.1 all the way.
For clarity, Council, so
Yes.
we leave the issue of Meru, we'll come to
We'll come to it later, don't worry. Let's deal with Olive Garden Hotel for now. Volume 6 of which is the Deputy President's response.
We made an allegation that the Deputy President has bought Olive Garden Hotel through proxies.
Volume 6, page
Volume 6, page 2 of 534.
2.
Yes, page 2 of 534.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Senators, in my motion, I made allegations that the Deputy President has bought the Olive Garden Hotel, initially owned by his late brother. And in response, the Deputy President said as follows: the allegation that I own Olive Garden Hotel is false. The truth is that Olive Garden Hotel used to belong to my deceased brother, the late Honorable James Gachagua'S, and therefore has never been my property. This is information that most of you may be aware of, as it is in the public domain. Upon his demise, my late brother left a will in which, in his recognition that I am an honest man,
We can leave it there, and honest man is written in bold, right?
he appointed me as one of the executors of his estate.
Now, is the DEP's response about that Olive Garden, which runs from page 2 to 3, consistent with the affidavit in the National Assembly's Volume 8 by Peterson?
Maybe so that we can point members. On Volume 8, we have the affidavit of Mr. Peterson Njomo Mushira. And
Tell us in summary, because we are so pressed for time.
Peterson Njomo Mushira says, I have personal knowledge of one of the issues raised in the special motion for the removal from office by impeachment of Mr. Gachagua'S, which initially formed part of the estate of the late Gachagua'S. Given the matter settled in the preceding paragraph, I am competent to swear this affidavit. I decided to swear this affidavit after my attention was drawn to contradictions between the contents of Part 1.1 on pages 1-2 of the response that His Excellency Gachagua'S filed at the National Assembly on 8th October in opposition to the special motion for his removal. B, remarks made by Honorable Comrades Mwengi Mutuse when prosecuting the motion at the National Assembly, and remarks made by Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah at the National Assembly. Remarks made by members of the Assembly.
Let's go to the next paragraph in the interest of time.
I wish to clarify and state as follows. I am a shareholder and director of TM Civil Engineering Limited, the company referred to in the agreement annexed on pages 10 to 34 of the Deputy President's response to the motion. On around 31st of March 2023, the Deputy President approached and convinced me to purchase the Olive Garden Hotel, which was at the time part of the estate of the late Gachagua'S.
Let's go to D.
Indeed, he averred that
now
in summary...
let's go to C.
No, C. The Deputy President persuaded me to enter into an informal secret arrangement, regarding the transaction embodied in the agreement annexed on page 10 to 34 of his response to the motion. In summary, the terms of the secret agreement were that 1. The Deputy President would buy the hotel from me by refunding the purchase price of 412 million set out in the agreement annexed on page 10 to 34 of his response. 2. The Deputy President would instruct and pay a contractor to renovate the hotel after the completion of the transaction embodied in the agreement. 3. To protect the Deputy President's undisclosed interest in the hotel, I would appoint Ms. Juliani Jahenda as the signatory or agent for the hotel's account at the Cooperative Bank of Kenya. And 4. To further protect the Deputy President's undisclosed interest, Mrs. Juliani Jahenda will run the hotel.
That Ms. Julian Jahenda, is it the same person mentioned in volume 8A on page 1 of 19? Volume 8A.
Yes, this is a letter from the Public Service Commission.
So does that mean we have two sources, one being Njomo Mushira? It is.
We are on volume 8A, page 1 of 19.
And there is an entry there, that name in that
paper. If you look
report.
at the names, you have the first one, the second one, and the third one is Maka Juliani Jahenda.
Is that the same?
Who is the Deputy Director in charge of coordination in the Presidency at the Office of the Deputy President, working on a local contract.
Who is the author of this document?
The author of this document is the Public Service Commission of Kenya.
Does this document, is it consistent with what Johnson Mushira said in his affidavit about Julian Jahenda?
It shows that Julian Jahenda is a staff and a close associate of the Deputy President, and she's the same person who was seconded to manage his interest at the Olive Garden Hotel.
The acquisition of this hotel through a secret arrangement from the estate of his brother, is it consistent with a honest man as written in bold font in his response?
It is indeed consistent with our allegation that His Excellency the Deputy President raided the estate of his late brother and acquired properties directly and through proxy.
Lastly, from me, so that Mr. Onyema will wrap up, let's go to the Vipingo property that also belonged to the estate of his brother.
And for senators to note, this is another 535 million, 412 million in terms of the purchase and renovations, another extra millions of money, and there is no disclosure as to where the money was coming from.
Now let's go to Vipingo Beach Resort, which again the Deputy President wants to hide under the shadow of his late brother, who is given on page 18 of volume 2A as the directors of Vipingo Beach Resort Limited. Volume 2A, page 18 of 123.
Volume 2A, on page 18, we have annexed Form CR12, dated 27 September 2024, for Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, and the directors are Keith Ikino Rigathi and Kevin Gachagua'S Rigathi, and the estate of deceased James Nderito Gachagua.
So let's begin with Kevin, who is the son of the Deputy President. Was he an executor of the will that the Deputy President has annexed to his response?
No, the will was to be executed by the Deputy President, Mr. Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Advocate Njoroge Rogeru, and Mr. Maina. So the children of the Deputy President were not executors of the estate, and therefore cannot be said to be in the directorship of this company by virtue of the will of the late Rigathi Gachagua, because they were not named as executors of this estate.
So is this document on its face consistent with his defense that this hotel belongs to his late brother?
It flies on the face.
But let's see whether he actually acquired it. Let's go to volume 4, page 107 of 484.
I am at volume 4, page 107.
What is that document, sir?
This is a joint will executors report on the status of the estate as at 27th February 2024. This is the estate of the late Nderito Gachagua.
And what does it tell us about Kuruwitu Home Resort in Roman 3 on that page?
The broad headline is sale of estate assets, and it lists number 1 Queen's Gate, Olive Garden Hotel, and then Kuruwitu Home Resort.
Yes.
And it says as follows: the resort was sold to Kuruwitu Properties Limited for Kenya shillings 250.
What page is that volume? That's
This
volume
is
Volume 4, Mr. Speaker, page 107 of 484. Volume 4, Mr. Speaker,
we
page...
can continue.
Yes, proceed.
Kuruwitu Home Resort. The resort was sold to Kuruwitu Properties Limited for Kenya shillings 250 million only.
Let's stop there.
Yes.
Is Kuruwitu Properties Limited, to which this hotel or resort was sold, a company linked to the Deputy President?
Indeed, and we have annexed in our volume 2A.
Yes.
If Honorable Speaker and Senators would go to our volume 2A of our exhibits at page 8. We have volume 2A, page 8. We have annexed the Form CR12 in respect of Kuruwitu.
And who are shown as the directors there?
The directors are Vipingo Beach Resort Limited.
But let's also interrogate.
Vipingo Beach Resort Limited, which we have demonstrated that is owned by Honorable Rigathi Gachagua'S children.
Back to volume 4, page 111 of 484. Can you read at the top the sentence that begins with, for instance?
This is, we are at page 111, and
For
this
484, Mr. Speaker, volume 4.
this is still, this is so that this is still the joint will executors report, and at the top there, at page 111, for instance, the sale of Kuruwitu Beach Resort cottages and Olive Gardens Hotel was done after beneficiaries were appraised in the meeting of 24th June 2023, cited herein before. Significantly, the beneficiaries themselves in their meetings with one of the executors, underline one of the executors, approved the sale of Kuruwitu Home Resort to one of them, underline one of them, who is also an executor, underline who is also an executor.
Who is the executor and beneficiary being referred to here?
The only executor and the beneficiary of the late Nderitu Gachagua'S estate, as named in the will and as named in this joint report, is one Honorable Rigathi Gachagua.
Where is this property located, Honorable Mutuse?
The Pingo Beach?
Yes.
Should be somewhere within the coast.
Back to page 107 of volume 4. In his response, as the deputy president explained where he got the sum of Kenya shillings 250 million to purchase this property.
In fact, he denies buying the property.
Mr. Speaker, I will cede the floor now to my learned friend, Mr. Wanyama, to prosecute the remaining grounds of the motion.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'll proceed from where my colleague Ndomi has left. Honorable Mutuse, can you go to ground number 2 of your motion?
We'll be there shortly.
I think that's page 10 of volume 1.
Here we are.
Yes, what is the nature of this ground? What are you complaining about?
We are complaining that the Deputy President has on numerous occasions violated Article 147(1), as read together with Article 152(1) of the Constitution of Kenya. And in particular, Article 147(1) provides that the Deputy President shall be the principal assistant of the President and shall deputize for the Presidency in the execution of the President's functions. While Article 152(1) of the Constitution states that the Deputy President is a member of the Cabinet. And in particular, through Cabinet communique, as you are aware, after every time there is a Cabinet meeting, there is normally a press release that is released. And we were aware of a decision of the Cabinet of the 30th of April 2024, where the Cabinet passed a resolution to evacuate members of the public for their own safety from the 30-meter riparian zone of the Nairobi River.
Yes.
And when that decision was made, insofar as I understand processing of business in the Cabinet, the Deputy President sat in Cabinet. The Deputy President is one who chairs Cabinet subcommittees which process business before going to Cabinet, and therefore, to my own understanding, he was fully involved in the making of that decision. However,
okay, just to cut you short because of time, the allegation is that the Deputy President has been undermining the President.
Yes.
Do you have evidence in your motion that support this allegation?
Yes, I have evidence.
Which evidence is this?
The evidence is in respect of the Cabinet resolution regarding the evacuation of the riparian, of the settlers around the riparian area, in that area, and our evidence is contained in the affidavit of Ms. Mercy Wanjau.
Where is this affidavit of Mercy Wanjau?
The affidavit of Mercy Wanjau is to be found on page 78 to 80 of volume 1.
Has the DP admitted these allegations?
Yes, the DP has admitted the allegation to say There was a cabinet resolution, but we went against it.
Where is the admission contained for purpose of the Hansen? The admission by the Deputy President.
If you look at paragraphs 10.1.1 and 10.1.3 of the DP's response,
Yeah.
41 page.
volume 6,
Uh-huh.
page 19 of 534. Paragraph 10.1.1, he says as follows. The Office of the Deputy President has undertaken extensive engagement with all parties in regard to the cabinet decision on eviction, which I fully support, including the Nairobi River, which is an entity under the ODP.
Okay. I think we can hold this, we can stop there. So in your opinion, as the move of the motion, can the government of Kenya function if the Deputy President and the President are not reading from the same page?
It will be very difficult for the government to function and to deliver effectively to the people of Kenya when the two highest office holders are reading from different scripts, and especially when the Deputy President, for political expedience, would disown decisions of the cabinet in a meeting that he sat through to make a decision.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, have you annexed any videos to prove this allegation?
Yes, indeed.
Video number?
We have annexed video number 10. Video number 10.
Video number 10.
And also video number 10.
What does video number 10, what is it all about?
Maybe they can play it for honorable senators to see for themselves.
Can you play video number 10 briefly? Mr. Speaker.
Watu ya Kayole, tangu mtupatie nafasi ya uongozi, sijapata nafasi ya kuja kusema asante. Nataka kutoka kwa roho yangu, watu ya Kayole, asanteni sana. Mimi najua, nimeona iko shida ya watu ambaye walibomolewa, si ndio?
Maybe you can,
na nimeona mumeandika vizuri
Mr. Speaker, sir, because of time, we are
ya
requesting you
kwamba
play
uteue kamati ya watu wachache ndio
1
mkuje
minute
niketi na
25.
nyinyi.
1.25
Utakubaliana?
because of time.
Mimi ningetaka wale watu ambaye walipata hii ya ubomoaji, ambaye ni kitu tulikuwa tumeahidi wananchi haitafanyika kwa serikali yetu. Mimi ningetaka niwasikize na nitapanga na mheshimiwa Meja Dong wakuje ndio tukue na nafasi ya kuongea.
Let us not have a war with wananchi. Tusipigane na wananchi wale walituchagua. Let us be empathetic. Let us, if people must move, let there be an engagement and let people get adequate notice so that they can prepare for their next life ahead. You can't wake up one morning and terminate people's life. Let us not have a
Mr. Speaker, sir, we can stop there because of time. The video has been submitted as part of the evidence from the National Assembly. Honorable Mutuse, let's go to ground number, allegation number 3, ground number 3 very quickly. What is it all about? What is your complaint in the Senate? In ground number 3.
Our complaint to the Senate is that the Deputy President has undermined devolution.
Why do you say so? Briefly.
We say so because there was a lawful decision by the City County of Nairobi
Which
about
is this lawful decision? You can be specific.
the City Council of Nairobi did make a resolution
Yes.
to relocate traders from CBD to Kangundu Road.
Uh-huh.
And the Deputy President, through evidence that we are.
Is that decision to relocate traders a county government function?
Yes, and Senate, because it is a house that is created under Article 96 to protect the interests of counties, would take notice that markets under Schedule 4 is an exclusive function of counties.
Yes. Have you submitted any video evidence to support this allegation that the Deputy